Okay, so I'm gonna go over NAS 100. I've been heavily trading it. Just making most money. Very easy setup. So obviously, blatantly, weekly wise, we have a trend. Market is trending up. We have a nice little candle. We have a bullish candle right off of the trend line. This is beautiful, 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 beautiful. Because last week we did have this weekly candle close really bearish, and people thought it was going to drop all the way down and maybe retest this area right here. But obviously that did not happen because we just didn't see that there was a trend. Which I mean, I had it set up already as a trend already, so that's why I didn't really take it. And then when we're dealing with indexes and stuff like that, yeah, it's the end of the year and things are a little slow and all that, but this has been on an up tear for so long. Like this will have to break out. Like it would have to be this move. Basically, it'll have to be like from here, it'd have to do this, retest and then drop. And then even dropping right here is just gonna find the floor and come back and make a new high anyway. So let's just like understand that much when it comes to indices. That if it's not bearish for the day or the week or whatever, I mean just go for the buys. Like it just got off. Here's the previous high that it was broken out of. See, it broke right here. So now we have the previous high right here. It broke out and it came to touch the last high that became a floor. So just use market structure, use the trend line, use that to understand what you're doing, because this could be very lucrative if you understand how to trade indices. So daily wise is pretty much the same thing on the weekly. We have the sharp move down right here. You can see sharp move down right here with the rejection off the high, the previous high. We put the frackles in. We had a frackle show up on the daily, and that's why I shot up. My team, we almost caught it. It hit us at break even. Sucks, but whatever. Things happen. All right, let's go over to the H4 where things get a little juicy. Things get a little juicy. So we had this little area here that obviously every time price comes here, makes frackles, and it turns around. Um, Two things can happen in this scenario. We do clear as day have a neckline rejection after this pullback. Um, in most terms, if this is a good rejection, then London session will reject, and then it might drop and do this. Possible. That's a possibility. You know, but we're dealing with NAS 400 here. Let's keep that possibility in mind for this week, because that could possibly happen, and that's mostly what I'm thinking is going to happen too. But we also want to be unbiased when we're coming into the market. And I think, do we have a head and shoulder action going on here? We do. No, we don't, because that's not lining up. It's not lined up. Is that lined up? So we might have a head and shoulders here on the H4. Might. It's lined up. Sort of. No, that ain't lined up. But even if it ain't lined up, we do have some type of head and shoulder deal going on right here. So I'm gonna remove that. I'm gonna keep that in mind. So with that being said, um, let me come back over here to this so we can come over to the daily so we can see what's going on here on the daily. Um, the real possibility is a new high. So let's just say it does come down here, just for the sake of that neckline break. It comes down here. Well, it's gonna come back, and we're gonna get in the buy right here, and then it's gonna come back here, and you guys are gonna be trying to put, because it's gonna react right there. Y'all gonna put sales again. It's gonna burst out of here, then retest that, then you maybe consolidate a little bit, and then make that new high. That's probably more educated way of looking at NAS 100. And then when it makes this new high, you know, you guys are going to try to put a sell in, but I mean, let's just be honest. It's going to sit here and then probably make another high, then drop to test this floor. And then, you know, range a little bit and then make some more highs. And just, you know, based off of course, the trend that it's in. It's going to keep doing this until it breaks this, retest it, and start flooring. That's what I see for NAS 100 for next week. I'm trying to capitalize on all of these moves, the impulsive moves, or the moves I want to capitalize on the most. I'll get the most pips out of it. I can leave the week with more than 6 to 10 R when I capitalize on the impulsive moves instead of taking little scalps off of these ranges. Yeah, that's what I see for NAS 100. Also, so since I'm on here, I was gonna do this about NAS 100, but let's go over our New Zealand. So the New Zealand currency index, I always look at it. Let's look at it on the weekly. I know it looks just like Euro New Zealand, so I really just go. I mean New Zealand dollar, so I'm just go with New Zealand dollar honestly. All right, so for New Zealand dollar, I just so the dollar might be weakening just based off the DXY, which the DXY has a fractal that showed up right there off the retest area. This was that retest area that it got back to the supply zone, and we might have a nice little correction. Not a big giant drop, a correction. It might maybe come down maybe to here. It might just come down to about there. Um, so with that being said, then Euro. So is that what I was gonna? Let's just look at it this way. So okay, Euro. What I have for Euro is two possible moves. If the dollar is bullish, it's gonna probably make a daily trend like this, and then break out of it to come back to retest these areas of significance. You can see sharp move, sharp move, sharp move, sharp move. So that'll be the retest area before it makes its next move. Or the dollar says no, I want to continue going up, then we'll have a break, retest, and drop. Um, the same thing with New Zealand dollar. New Zealand dollar, we have two daily fractals. Do we have a weekly yet? I don't think the weekly showed up yet, but we have an area of significance where it's at now that it wants to turn around at. Easy peasy, sharp move, sharp move, sharp move, sharp move. All right. Um, daily wise, we already had the rejection and then the bullish engulfing candle. Usually after a bullish engulfing candle, the market wants to continue to the upside, and that is a daily H4. Let me take these fractals off. So H4 is pretty much the same thing. It came up here, and let's make this different color that I can see. Something I can see. So it did come up here. It made this nice support. I couldn't get out. Nice support, but it dropped and it came down to this demand zone. So now we're here, right here, and I feel like New Zealand is going to make this turnaround to even come back up to this area to retest it. And after that, whatever happens, happens. But if the major, since New Zealand dollar being the major, if this move happens, then what I'm looking for to capitalize is this move with New Zealand JPY, which is going to be the same. Practically, they look the same. And the dollar and the yen kind of do the same thing sometimes. Sometimes, depending on what UJ is doing. But if the major makes this move, then we're looking at the minor of New Zealand yen to do this, which means Euro New Zealand would probably do this. I'm just correlation wise. This would be the move for Euro New Zealand after it breaks out dependent and it's already in a downtrend. Then GBP New Zealand will follow suit. It's all in order. If the major does, if New Zealand dollar becomes bullish, these things will do those moves. So this move will do the next move. Then Euro will follow suit. Then GBP New Zealand will follow suit after Euro does this move. Then New Zealand Chef will follow suit after GBP New Zealand makes this move. Or probably, I can probably put this above GBP New Zealand because GBP has a mind of its own sometimes, but it follows suit. Then New Zealand CAD is a little different because Canada's kind of has a mind of its own too. That's why I have a whole section for the Canada trades. And then if all those moves make it, like if that all these moves follow suit with New Zealand dollar, then the last two, New Zealand CAD will make this impulsive move up. And odd New Zealand is kind of iffy and sketchy because you need to understand what odd dollar and New Zealand dollar are doing. So I have two scenarios that could possibly happen. It can range, come back. If New Zealand gets too strong, it'll come back and test this area, then come back up here to test this, and then from this point, it either drop or break, retest, come back and touch these areas. And that's what I have for New Zealand. I'm gonna try to focus in on New Zealand, and because me being grabbing 6 to 10% out of the market every week, that's not it's not random. It's a trading strategy that I have, and I love the way New Zealand moves. So once I can dictate what New Zealand dollar does, if New Zealand dollar make this move, I can put the rest of them in. Well, not all of them. So I'll put in New Zealand JPY, a Euro New Zealand, and probably GBP New Zealand. I have all four of them in at the same time. Get my 6R, and while I'm getting my 6R, I'm scalping. I'm doing this for NAS 100, and then if I see any, I'll come in to get to my Australias and see if Australia is doing the same thing, which it looks like Australia, after breaking out its channel, coming back to this floor that used to be a floor, they're breaking out of that floor previous to make another floor because it was a floor at one point. Then it became a ceiling, but it broke back out to make a floor. So if AU, the major, makes this move, then we're looking for AJ to possibly come back up. Odd Chef probably gonna come back up. Odd CAD, GBP would probably sell off. Euro AUD probably sell off, and then we'll go from there. I'll try to do that correlation wise to make it easier for me to get my 6%. But those are the moves that I see in the market. I saw some other things, but I'm gonna be focusing on Australia and New Zealand pairs this week. If I see something else with something, another pair, then hey, I'll go for it. But definitely, I was definitely staring down at GBP New Zealand for its next move after it broke out of the trend line and it consolidated here for a very long time. Broke, made the low, then it exhausted, made a lower low. And then when it got back up here, I was trying to take sales right there, but to take the next little low, but it didn't do it. And it came back to this retest zone. With this being said, obviously there's two possible things it could do. It could just floor from here, or it could just break and retest and come back and touch this area one more time because it hasn't touched that area in a while. And the market likes to come back and touch the area, especially there's swing traders that have positions in that could possibly come up here. But if, like I said, if New Zealand dollar, the major, makes the next impulsive move to be bullish, then GBP New Zealand is probably gonna follow suit and drop. So this is the main thing I'm looking at this week is GBP New Zealand catching the next impulsive move. I love the setup. I like what I'm seeing. We only got two choices. We can wait patiently for the confirmations. So, that being said, that's what I see in the market for next week. Peace.